What's going on, Brown Butter Collective? I'm Gina Parker
Hey.
Collins.
And I'm Stacy Parker. Hello, everyone.
Yes, and we believe we're related, y'all. But we realize not everybody knows who we are. So we wanted to make sure that you met the founders of the Brown Butter Collective and heard a little bit about the origin story, why we started it. Before we do that, we want to share the newest member of Brown Butter.
Our lovely hoodie, which is so cozy, comfy. These are 100% cotton sweatshirts, and they will be available in the spring. They are comfy, cozy, all year round.
We both have our own Brown Butter girls. Mine, 13 years in independent schools, graduated in 2019, and I know her journey. And I was hoping for this type of a space to celebrate and elevate and recognize all of who she is in her beauty and brilliance. Stacey, is this the fourth year?
This is our official fourth year. Yes.
Official fourth year. We're going to take it all the way back to the beginning in a minute. Yes. But I do want to mention that May 3rd is our Supernovas. They'll be meeting at Berkeley Carroll School. That is grades 8 through 12. And then on May 17th, 2 weeks after, will be our Rising Novas and Novas. Novas are grades 2 through 4, and Rising Novas are grades 5 through 7, and that will be at Avenues. We want to just go ahead and thank Berkeley Carroll School for being our host venue, and thank Avenues School for being our host venue. We also want to thank some of our other sponsors who are coming back. Steve Madden, we have Sol de Janeiro. We have a host of other folks that we will drip out to you in a moment. We can't do this without our sponsor schools, but we have more room, and the earlier you sign up, the better, you get the early bird rates. But let's get to the beginning of the Brown Butter Collective, why we wanted to create a soft space for Black girlhood to land in independent schools. I am the mom of an independent school alum, 13 years in an independent school. And while she crushed it academically, there were so many times that socially and emotionally she did not feel seen or heard. And that would break my heart, always asking that question, did I make the right decision? And just the other day, Stacey, she, kind of recounts this story as she moves on with her career. She is better for it. I will say, though, that now she knows how to navigate those spaces. I don't think any Black girl gets through this world unscathed, yes. Right? But yes. to have to negotiate these spaces at an early age, one caveat is that she's able to kind of manage it now. But she reminds me often that, you just can't snap your finger and make it all right. So what we wanted to do, though, was to create an environment that would make it all right, yes. And recognize our girls and elevate and celebrate them and spoil them.
I, too, am a mom of an independent school, brown girl, and she has now been in that space for 11 years. She's a 10th grader rising to 11th. Very early on, I met Gina, and Gina very quickly adopted me into the space. And I thought our situation was unique. Wow, I have a Black girl in this space who does not feel seen, and it was at an elementary school age, where we both said, Gina's daughter was quite a few years ahead. And I thought, wow, it happened so young, but Gina's daughter had already been through the young piece and was on the older scale with this happening. So we both decided, wow, there has to be something that we can do. And as you say, there isn't a magic wand to wash it away, but we know we can try to make a difference and be a space where they feel safe, heard, feel a sense of community. That's very big for us. All of us want our children to have the best education that we could possibly give to them. And with that comes, I'm going to say, for lack of a better word, comes some sacrifice, because there aren't a lot of all Black spaces that they can go to and have, I want to say the cachet of going to an independent school. So, there is a trade-off, because this is the choice that we've made, and we just have to do our due diligence to make them feel comfortable enough in their own skin, but also provide a space where they feel like, wow, I belong here. You know, and as much as we can push them to try to feel like they belong in these spaces and that they are worthy and that, you know, all of those things, I think us doing something, that's what motivated me. It was like, well, what can I do as a mom?
Yeah.
What is it that I could contribute as a mom for my daughter to sit back and say, wow, you know, there is something that my mom can do, you know, because you feel hopeless and helpless. There are times where you're like, wow, when you listen to them and some of their experiences, you feel like, wow, what can I do? And, you know, I consistently asked, would you like me to be removed from this space? And the answer was always no. The answer was the educational piece, great. There were so many pros that, you know, I thought the contribution that we could make by providing an organization or starting something where these girls felt like they belonged, I thought not the magic wand, but at least there's something, you know, even if it's just a day, even if it's, you know, just a thought that someone is thinking about them. And you'll have a whole group of girls where they can, you know, empathize with your situation because they too are going through it. My motivation, I would have to say, number one, was for them to build community.
For sure. That day, they are not only sharing experiences that may not always feel so good, but they're also celebrating one another. There's a ton of joy, right? And that is exactly what we wanted. So, you know, let's go back 4 years ago. The pandemic is hitting, and we're like, we got to get our girls together, especially at that point in time.
Well, and we were determined to just try to make it happen. And we made a decision, you know what, let's hold hands and do this. Come what may, we'll get as many girls as we can. And we'll invite the moms as well. And maybe they can build some community within themselves. And it was one of those situations, if you recall, where it was like, okay, it's now or never. We have to do this. Let's just do it. And we just went full steam ahead. And the stars aligned beautifully because we had sponsors then. We also had people volunteer to come and speak with them. And look where we are now. We're addressing, you know, even younger, starting with second grade. And we're so proud of that because
so much growth. So much growth. So our theme this year is the joy and brilliance of girlhood. Yeah, we are so thrilled to have our cohorts back this year. And it's grown to be more than just our middle and upper school girls. We have lower school girls because it was, you know, parents who were saying, well, what about our younger girls? We need this now. So again, we have our Novas who are grades 2 through 4, and our Rising Novas grades 5 through 7, and our Supernovas grades 8 through 12. You know, we start on a Saturday. We start pretty early. They check in. They're welcomed, and then we move right into some workshops. But we always make sure to keep space for the girls to just have a moment to kiki amongst themselves. And they really love that aspect of it. So we don't want to overschedule them, but we want to make sure that they are leaving with all of the tools that they need to really shine brighter the rest of the school year through the summer and until we meet again. And to be reminded that they actually are seen. I would contend, Stacey, that they are very much seen. A matter of fact, shine so bright that it is intimidating to a lot of people.
Yes. And we also want to laud some of their successes. Wow. You know, our girls are really doing, I mean, a fantastic job. And this is not an easy course that we've chosen for them. It is not easy, you know, beyond the curriculum, you know, having to wade through that whole socioeconomic piece, whatever it is, on top of the curriculum. It is a very difficult curriculum. And I'm always amazed and so joyous when, you know, I'm with my daughter and, you know, she has a conversation with people and she's talking to them about anything from politics to, you know, a STEM situation, hair, you know, how to color hair and the way she's able to speak to people without fear or intimidation and have a conversation, you know, in a very intellectual and intelligent way. It makes me so proud. And I think that we have to that is one of the things we make sure we encourage at Brown Butter is we want them to be very comfortable with who they are already. Nothing has to change. I love that they're very educated young ladies, and they have not gotten weighted down with whatever it is that they have to wade through, on a day to day in these schools. Like, they are resilient.
Yeah, they are resilient, and at the same time, they're human beings. And I think a lot of our girls, some of our girls are struggling. What they are confronted with really has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with the society that we live in. And as I mentioned before, they are a bright light. They're brilliant. They are beautiful. And they say what's on their mind. And they're the folks who stand up when things are going down that are not right. They're the ones who raise their hands. So they are our advocates, and we don't want them to have to dim their light. So we allow them to be in their fullness on that Saturday and to be celebrated for that. You can register your Brown Butter Girl on our website. And you can also encourage your school to for a cohort. Brown Butter Boutique. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Our Brown Butter Boutique is something that we just kind of came up with. I think it just happened.
Well, it didn't just happen, Stacey. You happen to have the connects that allow for this boutique to happen.
Okay. Right. Well, the way we set it up, it kind of happened because we were like, oh, this would be really cool. So they could just come and, shop. So I happen to work for Steve Madden and in handbags and have access to a lot of handbags. So we decided, wow, why not have this as a gift for our girls? And we had so many of them, we were able to kind of merchandise them in kind of a boutique sort of way. So at the end of the day, they get to pick their bags, and it's the cutest thing because they are just like so happy. They're like, oh my God, you can't even pick.
We're gonna clap them up and just shout them out and remind them of how beautiful they are as they're on their way out the door after having such transformative experiences with people who adore them and see them and value them. And then they walk out with their bags, but they also leave with a tote bag. So you think the sweatshirts are new, but our tote bags have been in existence since the beginning. And in those tote bags is a whole lot of swag. So yes, her bag is perfect for the beach, taking it to the supermarket, sustainability bag, whatever. But in there is just a ton of stuff.
And it's packed. One of the things that I love about our event is there was one year where Gina and I, this was so encouraging to me. Gina and I were like, well, what should we do with phones? Because these girls, they have their mobile phones, and should we ask them nicely to put them in a basket until the end of each session? Should we ask them not to come with them? What should we do? And then we thought, well, we don't want this to be like a regular school day. Let them have their phones. And I cannot remember one event where these girls aren't so engaged that I don't even see the phones.
Yeah, we were worried about that. The only
time you see the phones is when they're getting each other's phone numbers and contacting each other toward the end. Yeah. They don't even because I've tried to think in my mind.
I've never had to say, why's your phone out? Put that phone away. Never.
Yeah. I have not seen them pull their phones. And that is so encouraging to me that we keep them so engaged that they don't even worry about their phones. I love it.
And so many great testimonies. I was at a recent lower school event, and a mom said, if my daughter talks to me or mentions brown butter one more time, like she's registered, she cannot wait to return. Please go to the website and register for May 3rd for your older girls, or May 17th for some of the middle school and lower school girls. We're going to be sharing what programming is going to look like, an example of what the day's agenda will be. You'll see that really soon. Again, we thank you. We thank the schools who have already sponsored a cohort. We welcome more schools to sponsor a cohort. If your school is not sponsoring a cohort, please register on your own and bring your girl and just give her this gift. Give her this
Yeah,
gift of the
and it is a gift. It is a gift. Even for us, it's a gift.
Yeah, we love our girls. They are the future. They are the now.
Guys, these are the cutest shirts. Wait until you see them in person. They're very cute.
Yeah, we'll be announcing the winner really shortly, but they are on sale.